Welcome to the Pink Dress Effect podcast with Shannon
and Kim.
Today we're going to talk about author. Well, she's on Instagram. That's where I found her. Jillian Turecki. She wrote a book called "It Begins with You." This is her book, and it's about 9 hard truths about love that will change your life. And what I loved about Jillian when I first saw her on Instagram, she has just soft voice.
Yeah.
And it's so, you just want to listen to her. Like some of these people on social media with relationships, they're screaming at you. You're telling you, don't do this. But she's so gentle and it feels non-judgment, right? But her stuff that she writes is beautiful.
Yeah.
And anyway, she had this book and I was like, I'm going to get this book. And so I bought the book. But then I was traveling a lot for work when I was working, and I decided to download it and listen to it while I was traveling because I had like a 4-hour drive. And I couldn't get enough. And I'm going to reread it, book, because I like reading books, but I listened to it. And, you know, when you're by yourself and traveling, I don't know, it gives you time to think.
It does.
And it was the first book that I had listened to.
Yeah.
And I didn't think it would resonate with me, but it did.
Yeah.
So much so that one of the chapters, and we'll get into it, it ate at me so bad for something that I told someone that I loved that I actually had to go and speak to them. And it didn't matter what they had to say to me about their side.
Right.
Of maybe the things that they had done or I felt they had done. It was about me and owning something that I had said. And I just didn't think it was right that I said that.
Yeah.
And so I owe that to her book. But growth for me, because, you know, how many times do you go and talk to someone after the fact? Who knows, right? But anyway, so we're just going to go through the chapters. You know, she really talks about it begins with you, right?
Yes.
And so you and I, we've talked about it a lot, the journey that we're on and a lot of our friends and people that we love, just trying to get some of those core childhood wounds or whatever we struggle with.
Yeah, just trying to heal.
Them.
Yeah.
And we always talk about, I always say, you're going to heal to the day you die. And I do really genuinely believe that because some of this stuff, I mean, I'm not 20 anymore, you know, that's been in there for a long time, but you can be a better version of yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And she talks about here how it does begin with you.
Yeah.
Making that decision, right? Like
I think we put so much of our value of the decisions we make that are so much based on what other people think about who we are that it really, you do at some point have to block out all that noise and really do accept that it begins with you. You are the author of your life. And, you know, God, of course, is, you know, the behind the scenes doing everything. But here on earth, you are making the choices and decisions for your life, good or bad. The people you allow in your life, the people you don't allow into your life, you are the one doing that. So it does begin with you.
It does, right? And allowing things and maybe even changing too. And I think sometimes we put so much emphasis on this person doesn't do this person doesn't do that.
Yeah. What are you doing?
But what are you doing? And you look at them like they're the fault, right, of everything. But the reality is that you cannot change another person. Look how hard it is to change yourself. It's hard work.
It's when you're avoiding changing yourself.
But don't you think a lot of people do avoid?
Yes. Yeah. Because it's your ego. Yeah. Yeah. You are going to avoid. You don't want anything to attack the sense of self that you've created.
Yeah, but you hurt people when you do that.
Well, yeah, that's true. And that's a part of your healing is to get to the place where you no longer avoid.
Yeah, where you avoid.
Yeah, and place blame on other people for situations.
And other people can, right? But you know
they can, but really, ultimately it's on you. So
kind of like what your boundaries are. What are you willing to say? Okay, this is not good for me. This is not. If they want to be that way, that's fine. But it's not fine for my life.
Yeah, it's when you try to get other people to change and fit a narrative that you're trying to get them to squeeze into, and they don't want to fit in that narrative. They might want, you know, they keep telling you different things because they don't want to lose you in their life. But the reality is they don't want to squeeze in that box you're trying to stick them in.
Right.
And it's up to you to decide.
And they shouldn't necessarily,
They shouldn't.
right?
Well, no.
They got to be true to themselves too, right?
You don't want anybody squeezing themselves in that box.
No.
Because that box is going to crack wide open, and then you're going to have trouble.
Then you're going to have trouble, right?
You're going to have trouble.
And I don't want anybody in my life that doesn't want to be in my life.
No. Let people, and it's not always about them wanting to be in your life. It sometimes is just simply the willingness of people to address their own stuff. And sometimes they don't want to address it at the same time that you do.
Right.
And you might outpace each other, outgrow each other, and that's just life. But you get to decide what you allow in your life.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that. And then the second chapter, Jillian goes into the mind is a battlefield.
Yeah,
Boy, is it.
Yeah.
It really is.
Overthinking, and
I struggle with that sometimes. Sometimes
Yeah.
I know something I can do is, and it probably goes back to my stuff, and I'm getting better, but like, you'll have a scenario.
Yeah.
It didn't even happen.
Yeah. No, that's stinking thinking from the therapy world.
Stinking thinking, is that what it's called?
You just create these scenarios. You
Yeah.
have a whole just a soap opera, take it back to the old days. But this whole story that you've created, none of which has happened, but your mind says that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And
do you think it's
to
protecting yourself?
Yeah.
Like maybe, you've been hurt so many times. Oh, that person's just going to hurt me anyway.
Yeah.
So why?
Well, you want to know what's going to happen. You want.
But we don't.
You want to know the future.
We don't know what's going to happen in 2 hours from now.
So you create a narrative
Yeah.
for your future that you then step into. So if you tell yourself all of those negative things, that is the future that you're creating.
Because most of the time, don't you think it's negative?
Yeah, most of the time.
I mean, I think about like, look,
Yeah.
I don't have a job right now. I'm going to get an amazing job. I'm going to get married again.
Yeah.
I'm going to travel. I'm going to do all those things. And I do believe that all that is going to happen.
Yes.
But I don't know when, right? I mean,
Right.
right? But
It's
that is
surrendering.
positive. But it is positive.
Yeah.
I think
Relationships tend to be a little bit
a
different.
little bit different. We
Yeah.
go the negative, right?
Yeah.
But you think about it. I mean, people have been hurt or
Yes.
people, but again, going back to you, not that we allow it, but sometimes we allow it.
Yeah. And do you really heal the hurt before jumping into the next relationship? And you've talked before about, being in relationship with people is how we work on a lot of things. And I believe that too.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I also think there's space and time for being alone.
Yep.
And really, when you're transitioning from relationships, to spend some time thinking about what was your part and what do you own from it. When you initially get out of relationships, I think it's a lot of anger and a lot of sadness and a lot of emotion. And so you can tend to blame the other person and focus on what they've done or what they didn't do. But as you settle into being alone, you start thinking and reflecting more on yourself and what you brought to the table.
And I definitely did that. I mean, like, I didn't date. Well, I went on a couple dates, whatever. But
Yeah.
I think it was like 7-8 years from my wedding or from being divorced.
Yeah.
And that was a long time. I read a lot of books, therapy, all that stuff. But I have to tell you, when I did start dating consistently the same person, that is when I thought I read all this stuff. But I do believe you do heal alone. And I know that I did. And I reflected on, even in my marriage, like what was some of the things that I could have been better at instead of all that anger and blame. And I don't blame either one of us really anymore.
Yeah.
I think it just is.
Oh, no.
Right?
And seeing
it's-
you now versus being around then and being around now, the two totally different women.
Yeah, I was a different person. But I think being in a relationship, and I've seen that person grow too. Like it's both of us, because I think that maybe I'm rubbing off, but I've also seen a shift in myself since reading Jillian's book to focus more on myself.
Yeah.
And I think that that's probably where I've seen the biggest transformation is focusing on myself. I mean, I have my moments where I slip, but trying to just focus on myself, because it's so true. That's the only person you control.
That's right. That's the only person
and I think
you
it's
can
kept
control.
my anxiety at bay. It's just fine.
Yeah, because you don't have to worry about what the other person is going to do when you know what you're going to do.
Exactly.
So it takes away the fear You gain control over your own choices, and you don't feel so much at the whim of someone else. Like if they do this, it's going to affect me like this, and it'll hurt me. And you start saying, no, I'm not going to allow myself to be in situations where I can be hurt. So I make different choices for my life with people who are showing up for me in a way that isn't going to hurt me. Now, you can't escape hurt. I don't mean that in the sense you're going to.
There's always going to be hurt in relationships. There's always going to be hurt in relationships. And that's one thing Jillian talks about a lot. One thing, and I wish I would have wrote it down, one of the most recent that I read, like I think in the last week or so, you are going to, in relationship, but the key is to be with someone who's willing to look at themselves too, right?
Yes.
That's the key.
Yes.
And then you can keep growing together. But if I'm like changing and working on myself and changing to be the better partner, but I don't have someone reciprocating.
And therein lies the hurt.
There's the hurt, because they'll look at you like you have five eyes, and you're like, wait a minute, I want to hear you. I want to hear you.
Yeah.
And if they choose not to do that, that's when you have to make those big decisions, because you can't be in a relationship with yourself. A one-sided relationship will never work. No. You're going to be miserable.
And you'll be pouring and giving into that person, and you won't be getting anything in return.
Yeah.
And you'll keep seeking it, though.
And right. And when you say giving, it's not even material things. It's the emotional piece.
It's the emotional
piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the mind is the battlefield. Truth 3, she talks about lust is not the same as love. See, people, and I do believe that. What I always say, right? I think a lot of times when people get married, they get married on the high of lust.
Yeah.
I've said that for years.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, you meet this person, you have this connection, it's great, but that's all chemical. Do you really know them in 6 months? What makes them sad? What makes them angry? Right? What is their character?
Yeah.
Are they a horrible human being? No, because it's just making me feel good.
Yeah.
And but people are driven by that. I mean, it's
because when you first meet people, the attraction can be so intense that you can equate that to love. So that's an easy thing for people to do. It's if you haven't spent a lot of time reflecting on your own self, you really don't have anything to weigh that against. So I'm not being really super in-depth and thoughtful. I know I wasn't when I was young. I wasn't being super reflective on who I was. I just knew I met someone and you have this amazing chemistry and I'm in love.
That's probably why I got married. He's cute. Look, it's so dumb.
I mean, the decision.
And he's not a bad guy, but I'm just saying, but I didn't ask questions that probably would have.
Yeah.
And he didn't either. Neither one of us did.
No, I wasn't thinking about any of the things that I would encourage my daughter, and did talk with my daughters about looking at, in relationships. I wasn't having those types of conversations at all. You just wanted somebody to love me. I was like, okay,
maybe that's what I wanted.
You love me, that's good.
And I think my grandmother, when I was asked to get married, I remember my brother was living with our grandmother. And she said, well, you don't marry the first guy that loves you. Because she was engaged and she met my grandfather on a bus. And she broke off her engagement and married my grandfather. But it's kind of true, when I look back, not bad people, just probably not. So, I definitely want to do it different this time. But no, you have to have an attraction to the person you marry.
There's some people who think you can, and I don't know if we've talked about this, who think you can grow into love. I don't believe that.
But isn't love is a verb though? But love is a verb. Think about it, Kim. I might not want to bring you food, but I'm going to do it because I love you. Yeah. I might not want to, I don't know, do certain chores, but I know that's going to make my husband feel good, so I'm going to do it anyway.
I'm talking more about the attraction.
You've got to be attracted. But love, they say, is a verb. I don't know.
Right.
But you have to be attracted.
So I think for me, I'll say for me.
Yeah.
It would be hard to get to love if I wasn't attracted to you. Some people think you can grow into love.
But do you think you could, so there's a person, you're just friends.
Yeah.
You get to know their heart, and their heart is so beautiful, you fall in love, and maybe they're not hot in your mind.
Yeah.
But because they're so kind and so good to you, maybe you could. I got to have a little attraction. Maybe they got pretty eyes. I don't know.
Just one body part, focus in on
Yeah.
one body part.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like attraction, chemistry is a part of it. I don't think
It is
all of it.
No, right. Because if that is all you're basing it on, is that physical, that's
not enough.
Because eventually, if you're not getting your emotional needs met,
Yeah.
all that will go out the wayside, and the relationship will die.
Right. And they could be an amazing, attractive guy, but they're unable to connect with you emotionally. You don't want that guy, that you're not going to be happy with that guy. You're going to be chasing human beings want connection. And I think in particular in a relationship, you're looking for that. So you don't just want the chemistry, you want the connection too.
Oh gosh, that's almost in some ways more important, because I think that can make the chemistry even better, right? When you have that connection.
Yeah.
And I think that's when I think people miss out on that, because they think that it's, and I read some the other day that women, we want more of the emotional, men want more of the physical.
Right.
But if men would just understand.
They would just give the emotional, they'd get more physical.
They'd get more physical.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
They would.
Yeah.
And it's not about bringing you flowers and all that stuff.
No.
It's just sitting down to have a conversation. Tell me how your day was.
Yeah.
Get a little deeper.
Yeah, women have to feel connected. I think men do too. I don't think they have to feel connected. I think they want connection. They seek it.
Do you think they're just afraid? Well, and they're just different than us.
They are different.
They are different.
Yeah. Number 4.
Yeah. So you have to love yourself. You have to love yourself.
Yeah.
You have to love yourself.
And you know what?
And that's hard sometimes.
And it's hard. I think I'm just now, we've talked about it, just now truly, truly loving myself. And I'm 50. Oh, I had to think. I'm 54 years old.
Isn't that crazy?
Mine's going already.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, but I really am just now stepping into that. And so, yeah.
And I think a lot of people.
And it's been hard.
You have done a lot of work.
Yeah.
It is. It's not easy to.
No,
it's not easy to look in. There's a lot of hard conversations. This one, I think, is powerful, and probably I've struggled with, as talkative as I am. You must speak up and tell the truth.
Being honest.
You must speak up and tell the truth.
Yeah.
So if you're struggling with something, you have to tell your partner.
Yep.
You have to.
You have to give them, it's only fair.
It's not fair,
to give them the opportunity to step up.
I was in a relationship. Well, I'll talk about that, but something I read the other day resonated to me. This woman, and I think I said it to you, this woman, her husband stepped out on their marriage. She was devastated. And the biggest reason, well, obviously that was terrible.
Right.
But her biggest thing was he never came to tell me one time that he felt disconnected. He felt any kind of way.
Right.
If anything, he made it like everything was just fine.
Right.
And yet he had an affair.
Yeah.
But then when he did that, he came back and said, I felt disconnected and all this stuff. Like the guilt was just making him, throw it up. But yet he never gave her that chance. And I was in a relationship like that, very similar. And that is the thing I think that I carry with me, because I don't think that was fair.
Yeah. It's not fair.
It's not fair.
It's not fair.
You didn't give me a chance to fix it or try. Not fix it, but do my part.
Yes. Well,
or you told me I was amazing. So if I'm so amazing, well then.
So even worse.
So you lied. You lied to me.
Right.
You weren't even honest.
Yeah.
And so, but I struggle with it sometimes. And I've been in a relationship where it's like, I'm frustrated about something, and then it builds and builds and builds. But since I've read the book, it's helped me. I still struggle with it sometimes, but I'm better.
Yes.
I'm better, and I'm hoping I'll keep getting better.
Yeah.
Because I want my relationship to be amazing.
Yeah.
And you
are better. I mean, across not just
even my friends, it's hard.
Your family, everything. You're being way more vocal, and the truth is, when you're able to speak up, whether it's in relationship, intimate relationships or not, you are really being who you are, authentic to who you are. Right. When you have to push down your emotions and not express how you feel, you can't have honest relationships like that. They're not real relationships because you're you're living your life in a lie. You're trying to be something that you're not,
right.
and hiding pieces of yourself.
And that's not fair to the other person
That's not
either,
fair to the
right?
other person either.
Because then that doesn't give them a chance. And I think that maybe sometimes people are just so afraid, if I say this, they're going to leave. And maybe that was my fear.
Right.
But
People
I'm
don't wanna
getting
be seen.
but I'm getting over that, because
Yeah.
if they don't want to be in my life, whether a friend or a partner, then they weren't for my life anyway, right? I don't want to see them go, but I also want an authentic, real relationship. And I want that person, no matter what, to tell me the same, because I would want that. I think people forget that if you are authentic, both of you, even if it's hard, how beautiful your relationship could be.
Yeah. Two whole people showing up with it, still having, their faults and things, but embracing those things about themselves, embracing that the other person is not perfect, but I love and accept you as you are, and we'll work through our things together.
It's beautiful.
But you have to have both people in it doing that.
Doing the work. But that was something, that was a chapter that really, really resonated with me. And I think that is why I went back and I had to apologize to someone, because it just spoke to me so clearly. Truth 6, you need to be your best self even after the honeymoon.
Yeah.
So still, right? The consistency, right?
Yeah.
I think sometimes people are in a relationship and they, like, if I'm married to you, like, I'm going to do everything Kim wants because I want Kim to be, but then I forget about myself. I want to be with the person I want to be. I mean, even friends, right? We're friends. I want to see you blossom in things that you tell me that you want to do. Like, I don't want you to do something that I want to do just because you want to make me happy. I want to support your dreams, and ditto, right? Back, vice versa. So that's what makes us unique. And why would you want to be with someone who didn't have their own things?
Yeah, and you have to, it goes back to all the steps above, the loving yourself. A person who loves themselves, they're not going to do that. And they are going to consistently show up in the relationship over and over again. So, yeah, I think that it goes back to the steps above. If you do love yourself, you show up consistently. And relationships are hard. Yeah. They're hard. If you're doing them right, they are hard.
They are hard. And I think, and especially, what do they say? I mean, just biologically, I think it's 2-3 years, that crazy. You're still going to be attracted or whatever, but that I can't get enough of you kind of thing. But that's created, right? So you can have that bond to get to the what have you. But
what about when that wears off or it's not quite the same?
Right. You want to. I'm my best friend. Yeah. That's what I think of, right? Just that person that no matter what, they got you. They got your back. They got you. And what a great feeling to have.
And you can get there if you are being consistent.
Absolutely. Truth 7, you cannot convince someone to love you. That's a deep one. I remember when I was in college, I worked in a retail store, and my manager, she was a little bit older than me, and I was married for a few years or whatever. And she wanted to get married so bad, like so bad. She bought him a wallet for Christmas and had a picture of a ring in there. And I remember thinking, girl, that was way back when. Yeah. And, I wasn't like a typical college student. I had been in the military and got out and then went to college. So I was still young, but not like 18 young. Yeah. But she did that. And I remember at the time thinking, like, I was like, I don't know. I think I'm too young. Yeah. And she's buying a picture. And I actually thought about her recently because I think they ended up getting married, but I wonder if they still are. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You're begging someone.
I can't imagine. Yeah. If they are, I can't imagine that they're happy unless they've done some work.
I'm like, why would you let me go buy him a wallet and put a ring in it?
Yeah. You can't earn love. You can't buy love. But I know there have been times throughout my life when I've absolutely fallen into a cycle of thinking, the more you do, the more someone will love you. It just doesn't work that way.
You just get yourself exhausted.
You just get yourself exhausted.
I did the same thing.
So I mean, absolutely. But I think a lot of women fall into that trap of thinking, if I just do this, if I just be this, then you will get that love in return. But really if you start to love yourself, you don't seek love in that way anymore.
Right. Because, and then also, what about a lot of, I'm sure men are like this too, but even women, like, it's like, oh, I have to weigh a certain amount. I have to, whatever,
Yeah.
face stuff, whatever. But at the same time, right? I
You don't
want
have to do any of that.
I know, you just be yourself. I want someone to love me for my heart, So I thought that was an interesting one. Truth number 8, no one is coming to save you.
Yes.
That's so true.
Yeah. We talked about it the other episode with just looking for someone, my own anxieties, looking for someone to quell that for me and make me feel better. Yeah, I know I need to save myself, and which I have done. But many years of not looking for safety in other people. No. You can keep yourself safe, and you can create an environment for yourself where you don't need someone to save you. And that's a big thing.
It's a good feeling,
That's
though,
a good
isn't it?
feeling, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes like on a weekend, like when I'm alone, and I'm alone a lot. And I think we've talked about this. I feel like since I've lost my job, my circle's gotten a lot smaller.
Yeah.
Like a lot smaller, which is probably not a bad thing because there's been room for more growth.
Yeah.
And it's uncomfortable. But I tell you, like on a Friday night when I have no plans and I've left the gym and I'm showered and I just curl up on the couch with a cup of hot tea and watch a movie, that is some of my favorite times. Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
10 years ago, I would have hated that. But I look forward to that.
Because you've learned how to be with yourself.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice. Or curl up with a book or something.
Yeah.
It just, I love people, obviously, but I always, and we've talked about this, we used to keep ourselves so busy that we didn't have time to just be.
Yeah.
And I
because
think
when you just be yourself, that's when all of that stuff comes up.
it does. You're not even thinking about it and it just pops in.
Yeah.
And
Last but not least.
last but not least, this one was good. Truth 9, you must make peace with your parents.
Yes.
And we're both parents.
Yes.
And, I think about like my child, when I was going through my divorce and then I lost a job shortly thereafter. I cried a lot. I know I was so sad. I was just sad. And I think I tried a lot to do that, be sad or away from him.
Right.
But there were moments, I'm sure.
Of course, children know everything.
And so sometimes I think, God, did that, he's 22 now, but how did that affect him, right? Did I, all parents ask themselves, could I have done better getting a divorce? Was that all the things, but I hope our relationship, I think, is very authentic and very real. And we talk about a lot of hard things.
Yeah.
One thing I did teach him early on was he was going to have to go to therapy if he didn't start talking to me.
Yeah.
So I made him go to therapy. And then he started talking to me. And he's like, now I don't have to go to therapy. So he was in high school and he told me how he felt about me. I don't know. I did something. He wasn't happy. And I was like, gosh. He's like, you taught me how to share my feelings with you, Mom. So I hope because of that, maybe there won't be a lot. Maybe there won't be a lot for him. But I know with my mother and my parents are great.
Yeah.
They're wonderful people. I love my parents. They are great people. But my mom and I did sometimes have some challenges.
Yeah.
And through my healing journey, we've had some talks.
Yeah.
And I have a couple more. Sorry, Mom, if you're watching. But one thing, I went into it like we're going to talk and it's going to be a fight. I did.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
Yeah.
She listened to me. And she understands like some of the things, the way I felt.
Yeah.
And we're different. I'm probably more like my dad,
Yeah.
like in that way. But I think it's been good.
Yes.
And my mom is a separate woman from being my mother.
She
who has
is.
her own stuff.
Yep.
And she was raised by different people. And
And sometimes that stuff is generational and it's just passed down
I'm
from
sure.
woman to woman.
I'm
you
sure.
know? So they did the best that they were able to do. Doesn't mean it didn't hurt you.
Yeah.
You still have the right to go to them, share with them, in a way that's not, accusing them, a way that's not angry.
Right.
Me and our moms are very similar, and we've both had similar, dynamics there. And I know there have been times when I've gone to my mom in a great deal of anger, a lot of anger. But I've, over the years, and we're in a really good place. And I think
and your mom's a wonderful
and
woman.
she is. She's a wonderful, giving woman.
She really is.
My mom was young when she had me. She was 16. And
she wasn't even grown.
She was still a kid.
Yeah.
And, sometimes, maybe we'll do an episode on that sometimes. I think,
Have her come on.
Yeah. Being a young mom.
That's
and
hard.
Stepping into that role when you're still a kid is not an easy thing.
No.
For the mom or
and look
for the
who
child.
she raised, right?
Yes.
A wonderful, wonderful
Well,
woman. No, you know what I mean?
You shouldn't do that.
No, no.
But healing that relationship, I absolutely see a correlation between some of the dynamics that with my mom that I also had in relationships. And so you could see where I had pulled that healing that needed to happen into my relationship. So I definitely have seen the correlation between those things.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Well, this book, like I said, it really changed me in a lot of ways. She does have a conclusion here. It's never too late to choose yourself.
Yes.
And I think people, they think they just never do.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's a career, relationship, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's never too late. We talk about that a lot. I'm in between, jobs, and I need one, but I also I'm good at a lot of things.
Yeah.
And people like events. People keep telling me I need to start an event business. I have a friend who's created a couple names for me, so which is so cool.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking a lot about that. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
Yeah.
Other people see it in me, and I love it, so why not?
Yes.
I did a bridal shower a couple weeks ago, and the joy I had in doing that.
Yeah.
And I was telling my friend Amy yesterday, it was for her daughter. She goes, I thought you were going to say it was awful. I was like, no, it brought so much joy to my life, picking out the flowers. I was exhausted, but it was fun exhaustion.
It was fun.
Exhaustion.
Yeah.
And so why not? Who cares that I'm 52?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
No. Just keep living. You got to live anyway. You might as well do what you want.
Right? Why just, till I'm 60, whatever, and then I retire, and then what?
Give up on life?
So many people do.
A lot of people do.
But I love this book. I would encourage you to listen to Jillian on Love podcast. Mm-hmm. She is truly, truly wonderful. I would love to meet her. Someday. But her book, and like I said, I listened to it. I'm going to reread it.
Yeah.
Because I want to be the best version of myself. And she speaks a lot of truth in this book. And anyway, I would just encourage you to get this book for sure. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think it's great. I think a lot of it, I had not read the book, but it all resonated with me.
It does, yeah.
And I feel like I had to conquer those things to get where I am now. So I feel like I'm in a really good place.
Well, I'm going to give you this book.
Okay, thank you, Shannon.
So now you have the book to read. Now you can read the book. And that was not planned. No. But no, really, it's
pink. Look at coordinates. Yes, so nice.
And that is how powerful that book was to me, and is to me. And it's been about 7 months, I think, since I read it, and I think that it's time to read it again.
Yeah.
And I would encourage you to read it.
Yeah, maybe there's still a lot things to learn.
Yeah, and she just got, I don't know, it's just a way, and I enjoyed, and I actually put a comment on her post today. I enjoyed every single word, and I really, really did, and I think you will too.
Yeah.
And I think you will too. So buy the book. Thank you for joining us today. I know it's a little bit of a deeper topic, but I think I know you love talking about things like this, Kim. And
I do.
I was so passionate about the book that I'm so glad we did do an episode on it. But so our next episode we are going to be talking about faith, feelings, and figuring it out. So we've got some young adults coming on to talk about what it's like to be super active in the church, and then of course the way our culture is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Just the balance.
The balance. How do you balance it? Yeah. Right. When there's so many, as you talked about earlier, so many rules.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
See you next time.